All right, looks like we are live. Cool. So, yep, today we are going to be working on some registration stuff that I wanted to get going with my little rebase project here. So I'm popping this over to here. Okay, close that down. And let me just show what I got so far. Not a whole lot going on here. The only thing I do have here is that when you go over into this thing and you can check your slug, essentially. That's the first part. So if I enter the name admin, I don't want to be able to take that for right now. So it'll kick back saying admin is not a valid slug. That's really the entire gist of this whole thing at this moment in time, showing how that actually works. Let's see. Where the hell do I have that? I got that code in process slug. Okay, so well, there's first the view registration. So if you've never seen an inertia app before using inertia.js, you create all your pages in Vue or React or whatever thing you're working on. In my case here, I am working on specifically getting this through to I use Vue, but all right. So I got a page set up in my Vue spaces here. So JS, rebase, view, registration, view registration. It's not really doing a whole lot at this moment in time. It's just looking for a template, creating the page, and then the page just has a couple of components on it at this moment in time, and it's just, I don't even need this here. So it's asking you for what your slug is. You enter your slug, and you hit the let's go button, and then that just does a send through this inertia post to whatever link you want it to go to. So in this case, I'm just going right now to this process slug, and it's grabbing this form. So this .form is up here, and it's right here. So that's basically this form.slug right here that it's grabbing. So it grabs that information. Oops. Grabs the information, sends it over to the processing piece, which is process slug. And all this is at this moment in time, this is what I'm going to be working on right now, is checking to make sure a couple of things. One, that the slug is valid, that it's there, it's unique to the workspace itself, that it's not like that hasn't been used somewhere else, and that it hasn't been banned. So this is what I was just finishing up a few minutes ago before I started this stream. The concept of a banned thread, or a banned slug is just that of what happens if there's like a word or something you don't want people to ever have as a slug. How do you actually stop the user from doing that, from keeping those things? So what I have here, and the way I'm kind of working that, is that I just have for now it's just a database seeder called banned slug seeder. That just adds to a table called banned slugs that adds a bunch of things that I don't want people to actually use. I'm not using this for, at first I was like, oh, I'll just put in like every vulgar word I can possibly think of. There's no, that's kind of silly. I'm not going to actually do that. I just want to make sure that people can't put in certain things that I wouldn't want them to really do, which would be basically words like admin, super admin, administrator, administrators, admins, something silly like email or mail. Horizon is also going to, like, because I use Laravel Horizon, I don't want anybody to try to create a route called that, or another, or a workspace called route. Actually, that's a good one. I should put in there just on the off chance that somebody does it, because it would be kind of crazy. I just don't want people trying to create a slug called Horizon, like horizon.rebase. That should already exist. So if somebody were to create that route for themselves, I don't know what it would do. I don't even want to find out. Again, 99% of these things, or 95% of these things, I don't think anybody's going to ever enter any of the things in. The places where I see as being major concern would probably be somebody doing admin, super admin, or potentially mail, email, or like Horizon or public. Like those are the ones I think are probably the biggest potential offenders, and I don't want to do that to anybody. And again, this isn't because this is more an issue, I think, of people just doing stupid things. Like I've seen people do silly things, so I'm trying to stop them from doing something dumb. So And again, I don't think people are like, it's not like I'm thinking somebody's gonna be some sort of super hacker and like, oh, if I create a fake admin section, I can send people. Like, no, that's not what's going on. What ends up the reality of this is that I don't want somebody to create something called administrator because I'm probably going to have an admin panel myself. And what somebody's going to end up doing is just saying, well, I'm the administrator of my whatever, therefore I should have a page called admin, and they're going to try to create that themselves. So I just don't want that to happen. Again, this isn't, I don't think anybody's going to be like trying to nefariously work on this site unless like, or these projects, unless it becomes this amazingly gigantic thing. But yeah, so all right, so for right now, that's how this works. The idea eventually is, so this just works through a database seeder right now, and I'm just adding them in here. Eventually there would be kind of like an admin section for where you can add more banned slugs. And you look at the database, I've already seeded it, but if I go into Table Plus, they're already in there. I give people the ability to create descriptions on their banned slugs. So I think all these are obvious, but if there's something at some point that a user bans, like that a user of the system doesn't want for some reason that I don't really understand, like let's say, I don't know, they work at a, say it's being used by somebody who owns a butcher shop and they definitely don't want the word vegan in any of their slugs. I don't know, I'm making something up. They can put that in there. And then they would say, they would put the reason like, I'm a butcher, I never want to see the word vegan ever. I don't know, whatever. Just it gives them the ability to do that. And then if anybody else comes back later, they can look at it and they can actually see a reason as to why. These slugs to me are self-evident. I'm not putting a reason in there. All right. So yeah, we got that going. Let's see where we are on this. So right now, let's not open up a million windows. Database.test. Okay. So yeah, there's nothing at this point. It's at registration. Man, I can't type today. Register. All right. We go here. Now let's go to inspect. Just want to pop this open. Pop the view side open too so we can see this thing work. Enter whatever I want to do here. View registration. This is where all the data is. You can see that it's just going right into that. It's basically just, it shows them, hey, this is the name of your form. This is what it's going to be. Hit let's go. And I don't think it does anything right now. That's kind of the point. It just redirects you back to this page. Doesn't even show anything at this moment in time. So that's fine. I know that it's working because I can see in the debug bar that it says, registration number 2. So it's actually showing that it was actually redirected back 3, 4, 5. I'm not doing anything other than just checking if this name exists. And if it doesn't exist, then we are, if the name exists in that list, then we're not gonna do anything. All right. So now let's have a little more coffee and then let's figure out what we're going to do from here. So the next step is what, in my head, the way registration is going to work, it's going to be like this step through thing. First step here is test to see if the workspace name that you're creating exists. If it doesn't exist, then it's going to, if it doesn't exist and it's not on the ban list, then it allows you to go to the next step, which is going to be adding your personal information and adding your payment. And then once you've done that, that's when we then spin up that's when we actually do the registration, that's when we actually spin up the database and all that stuff. So let's start here with, all right, I think at this point what has to happen is we get through this page. We've created the form. I'm sorry, we've created the slug. We got the slug, it's good. Now we take them somewhere else. And that somewhere else is where? I don't really know. I think I'll just create a new page. Call it, I don't know, slug OK, and then like that's where it does the registration from, or like the real registration from. All right, so let's start from that point. Make controller. We're not really at the store registration point yet, so we're at view registration. This is actually going to do the showing of that form. Now I want to show another form, which is got the user information on it, right? So, all right, I'll call that view register user, and I think that's going to be under registration, and I'll explain these things in a minute if I did that right. What the hell is the thing? I don't remember anymore. Name, folder, and what are my options? Singular, shared, rebase, okay. SNG, singular, shared, and view also. Let's see if that works. All right, all this is just an artisan command that I created that spins up a controller for me, and in this case gives me, with the -- view, will actually give me a view page also. So view register user is right there, and then in the correct folder under shared, it says view register user. So great, that's there, that's created, that looks good. Good, everything there is good. So this is where, now I gotta just go to the routes. And let's create that. Oh no, it's all right. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Okay. All right, so we got now we're going to be able to get to that page. So we process the user, and then we take them to view.registration.user once that's done. All right, cool. Oh, you know what I should probably do? Where is it? Watch. So let's actually turn on yarn compile those views, because that view was just created and it's not ready to work now. All right, now it should be good. Oh, okay, this is now registration user, so it took me to that page. Awesome. All right, now what do we do on this page? All right, I guess that's the next part is, all right, great, we're on this page, we made it. What do we do? I'm actually going to pass to this page with slug. And this is just slug. think that'll work. No. All right, so we're passing into this slug, or passing into this registration page, whatever our slug happens to be. So now we've got our we validated our slug. We go back into here. We now pass that into there. So let's go over to view registration user, or view register user. I think it was over in here. I gotta remember this inertia render function. I don't remember it. Component and props. All right, so I'm looking at just this real quickly here, trying to figure out what method that I'm like, what's on this method. So I got response is going to be render, which is the component name, which in this case is the page, and the props I want to pass in as an array. Okay, good. So the prop that I want to pass in is slug. And that should just be in the request. That's how that works. I may have to die and dump to see. Route views, timeline messages. There we go. Let's look at the request. Nope, it's not coming over there. Okay. All right. So registration, oh, this actually doesn't need to be this. This just needs to be null. Oh, wait. Yeah, it's not going to work. I gotta rewrite this. Right, I'll take it. Okay. Oh wait, let's make sure. Primary view registration. Slug null. Okay, so it's not grabbing it. Process slug with. I think this is actually. Let's see. Let me die and dump here real quick and just see what that actually comes out to be, because I don't. Well, this should be right, but. There. Okay, so I got that correctly there. Then the redirect route width is doing something funny, I think. So the request input slug is not grabbing that. Okay, so why? Probably because I'm using that wrong, the width wrong. Go to the docs, redirects. Ooh. Yeah, width, but this is, it's gonna be flash data. I guess that's okay if it's flash data. Yeah. Back with input. Yeah, I don't think I wanted that though. Oh no, that's fine, I think. I'll just see if I can grab it out of the session. So if I just say with this, so let's just see what that does. I go back over here with slug, hit save on that, and then I go to where? Can I grab it like that? I never remember how you can get this stuff. All right, I could just. Maybe it's under Flash or something like that. I don't remember anymore. No, it should just be under whatever you put it under. Save. There we go. Okay, so now I'm on the right page with this information, but now if I refresh again, it kills it out because it's part of the Flash data. I think that's okay. I'm trying to think if that's okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that for right now because I'm trying to imagine a scenario where somebody comes to this page and they've like, if you sat on it for a really long time, chances are somebody can scoop it up. I'm not going to like reserve the names or anything like that for like a time period. So you come here, you do what you need to do, and you get out. And in that period of time, there's no reason for a user to hit refresh. So again, I've worked with, how do I put this in a nice way? Elderly people who sometimes do interesting things. So, this might not work at a certain point. Like this may work for most users, but all of a sudden you may get a group who this may not work for. If that happens, then I'll change it. But as of right now, I think this is good enough. All right, so we passed that into this. Now they got the slug. So now we're basically on the second page here. And I have the slug, assuming you come back over here from this point. So blah, blah, blah. Let's go. Doesn't find it, switches over to there. Great, we got that. Now if I look over here, you'll see that it's in the props and it's with the slug. All right, awesome. So now all I gotta do is actually grab the correct user information now that I'm on this page. And what information do I actually want to collect while I'm on this page? I think what I need to do here is a couple things. Let's say, no, let's put that back. Yeah, I'll go with, actually, that'll be a post. We'll call this send. All right. And all right, I'm gonna need their name, obviously. So their name, their email address. I'm not gonna do a password on this page. We'll get their name and their email address, and then what I'm going to do is to activate their account, they'll have to so name, email address should be enough. Then after that, we will pass them over to, it'll basically go through an email. So then at that time they'll have to do an email. They'll like activate their account that way, and that's when they'll set up their username and their password. So all right, that'll be good. So for right now, at this point, let's just grab their username, email address. Yeah, I think that's good enough. So all right, I have already created a couple of components here. So and I've already imported them. So if you look at I've globally imported them. So I just this is an application that has to the form fields are everywhere. There's no reason to import them individually on every other page because I'm going to have some bunch of this everywhere I go. So there's no reason to do that anywhere else other than just globally say, okay, all of our form elements, we're just taking them in and use them. So in this case, I need I'll need a form field and some form text and then a button. All right. So if I go back over to the other page too, you can see that I use these. So this is I'll just copy this and then I can paste that in registration here and just start from there. All right, so form field, we're going to validate. I don't need a group. Don't need the group. And I'll do that. All right, so what is your name? We don't need to slugify their name. This will be form.name and name here. I'll explain what that is in a moment. Let me just do another one, and then we need email. What is your email? Hit save. All right, primary. Next step. All right, so we have name and email address. Let me put that up here as no. All right. So slug, name, and email. That's all I'm collecting at this moment in time. They come from this form itself right down here, so that's why I'm saying form.email. That's what this is set as the V model. How these things work are actually pretty simple. I have this validate thing right here, so let's go into a form field. It's really just kind of like these sort of higher order component wrappers or whatever you want to call them. This validation wrapper just correctly sets where the validation needs to be, and then this is a label that wraps the whole thing, and then inside of there is a slot where everything else goes. So this is just kind of like creating all the elements for me that I need to just drop everything in place. All right, so there we go. That's my form field. That gets created. So I have two form fields here. What's your name? What's your email address? That's it. And then it goes to the next step. The next step will be, I think at this point we can try to collect their information for their for payment. I think, right? Let me see. See, I'm not saving this information yet. So, you know what I should do here? Email. I'm going to pass in these two. So this is required. These are just the HTML5 required attributes. So it's like you can't, you can't leave this page without actually entering this information. All right, go back here, refresh. Now it doesn't have a thing, but I can just see the page. It's fine. There we go. There we go. And if I hit next step, it's probably not going to let me do anything. Yeah, now it's saying, dude, you didn't enter. That's required. Please fill out this field. All right, good. Okay. All right. So yeah, name and email. I think that's really kind of it. And then the question becomes, do I yeah, so all right, so we're gonna leave that here. You know what, I'm gonna do the payment stuff right on this page too, I think. But what I'll do is eventually I'll just name, email, payment information right here, and yeah, and then you go from here and we just save everything in one shot. I'll probably end up making it look like it's 2 separate pages, or 3 separate pages really. So it'll be the getting started page, which will be where the slug is. So you enter that information, you enter the slug, it checks it, sends you to page 2. Page 2 is this page here. This will just be, okay, give us your name and your email address. Great. Next step, you go to the next step and it's, okay, now, which plan do you want? And select your plan and select all your stuff and do all those things. So that's going to require us to use some Stripe stuff. And what I want to do there real quick is grab some Stripe stuff that I already have. I have like the components somewhere, but I'm still gonna have to like make it all work because it's not gonna work here. So where the hell do I have that code? That's gonna be in here. Let's see. Oops. Pay. Let's see. Do I have a page called pay? Post pay process. I think that's gonna be where I keep this stuff. Nope. Overlay, secondary menu, payments. See, because for this site, I use all the pay crap from Stripe. What the hell did I call it? Payment complete. Name your stuff good. Here I didn't, and that's gonna bite me in the butt because I totally don't remember what I called this. So let's look for, it's gotta be on, well, all right, let's look at the view real quick. So the view is gonna be under pages, better shared, register. I bet you it's onboarding. Start. Yep. Okay, here's all the payment stuff. All right, great. So you got to select your plan, obviously. Don't do the payment stuff, and then it's gonna have to go over to grab the credit card number. See, these are the field names with your keys and stuff like that. So I've already got the key names hidden on here. So there's nothing I'm worried about grabbing, like you're not gonna see any like special keys or anything like that. That's already taken care of and hidden for me. But the question now remains, and I am gonna move this over here just to make sure I didn't put anything in here that could come back to bite me in the ass. Where do I get that stuff? Ah, okay, there it is. Cool. There it is. Okay, Stripe Elements Plus. That's what I need. So yarn add. Now let me go over to npm real quick and just pull this thing out. New Stripe Elements. See, I was using view Stripe Elements before, and now you go 3 days without looking at some of this stuff, and there's brand new things every week. So I think I think view Stripe Elements is the right one, or the one I'm going to use now. Let's double check this. Grab your API key. All right, I think this will. Components, yeah, don't use your secret key, obviously. A year ago, downloaded a bunch. See working demo. Okay, yeah, this is great. This is, I think this is the one that I want. Oh, it matches a fucking light. Never mind. I think this is, we have to go back to this one. All right, yeah, this will be what we use. Oh wait, there was another one. Plus. Use stripe elements plus. All right, this is. Okay, this one's got more. Source, create token, handle the card setup, yada yada yada. Okay. All right, this is the one I'd used in the past, so this is the one I'm just going to use right now. It looks like it's been. When was the last time this thing was updated? 10 months ago. Okay. 3 point. All right, so at least it's, I guess, somewhat being updated. All right, so let's pull this thing in. Add. All right. That's pulled in. So we got that. So now I can go to here. I'm just going to do it right all in this page here. Import. What do I have in here? Oh, wait. Just grab this stuff. There we go. And broke something. What'd I break? Oh. There we go. Pulling some props. Stripe options, stripe key intent. Just for right now, I'm starting to just grab this stuff in here. Some components. Yeah, it's gonna break. do? What are our options? Okay, so pulled in some data from Stripe, or from the Stripe API. Some things we're going to need, obviously, the card number, expiration date, CVC stuff, ability to create tokens, handle payment methods, and stuff around. All right, so I think we're in decent shape so far. Let's look at the... Let me just grab some HTML for this if I have it. I wonder if this will work. Let's see what this looks like. Well, first, let's just drop in this stuff right here. So let's say card number. Card expiry date and CVC. So that's the basics of that stuff. I didn't have the complete event in here yet, so let me pull that in. Okay. Or just passing that. It's not, I don't need that. All right, good. All right, so let's see what this looks like. Broke something. Let's see. Oh, yes, there we go. All right. Stripe is undefined prop. What is that? Okay, that's my key. So I got to figure out that real quick, how to send that over here without showing anybody. Might just have to move this screen over for a moment, just that way nobody sees what my Stripe tokens are. Yeah, intent is your basically, okay. Let's see, Stripe. Yeah, Stripe equals Stripe key. Yeah. Okay, so where did I get that from? How did I pass that in? Ah, okay, I see what I did here. Okay. I don't know if this is ideal, but we'll do it for now, and we'll see what happens. View registration user. Config. This comes from my env. Stripe.key. And let's see in here. Stripe. Key. Stripe key. I've already set that up. And we'll just do secret. Stripe secret. Okay. So this is your third-party services thing inside of Laravel itself. It's just you can kind of just pass variables into this so that way you can use it inside of your PHP, inside of your Laravel. So I've already got that. Now I'm just going to be able to pass this data into not slug. So I did what? Stripe.key. Stripe.key. So services.stripe.key. Services.stripe.key. And it should probably pass. It's going to blow up on intent on me too, because I'm going to have the intent is actually, I think, from the account creation process. So from cashier needs to like say, oh, create a setup intent. But let's just see what happens here. If I can just get past this one error. Boop, boop, boop. Stripe library not loaded. Oh, well, there's a problem too. I think I have to tell it something, if I remember correctly on my, first, am I using it? App.blade, hold on. If is set stripe, oh, okay. So, yeah, I just had this for now. So we're gonna kill out that, hit save. There we go. Okay. So it's still going to throw a couple of errors on me. But for right now, I can see, and then 1, 2, 3, and I can do next step. So obviously right now, this is not going to work. This is not going to take anything, but there we go. A couple things to keep in mind here, because you want to be PCI compliant. Like you can't send this data over to your server, like your own server. So I should be going over to my view. Yeah, so if you see in my form right now, I'm not collecting like the credit card number because this will all go through my server, and the minute you go through your server, you have to be PCI compliant. So at least in the United States, it's probably called something else in other countries, but it's essentially the same thing everywhere, which basically just means you have to be able to protect people's credit card information. So we're not going to be protecting anybody's credit card information. I'm going to let Stripe handle all that stuff. So that's why these are these stripe fields and doing all their own thing. So right now, let me see if I can get this. I think I can wrap this in a form field. Oops. I have not tried this, so I don't know what this is going to look like. I'm just trying to basically grab the stylings from this. Credit card number. Nope. Well, it took it in terms of, obviously it's allowed in there, and if I click on this, it, I can go here, I can click on that, and then I can enter this. So the label is working, the styles aren't, which I think makes sense because it doesn't have all of my styles set in there too, because I think it uses probably a bunch of other stuff. Inspect element, let's see. Input element is valid. Yeah, so I have to just style this to correctly, like I have to just use class input element for that. So if I go over to my stats real quick. Form item, text area, text box. See if that just works. Nope. Oh, I have an input this, input container. Is this inside a whole bunch? Oh, Jesus. Yeah, it's inside a body, inside of this, inside of that. Okay. Stripe elements. I got to look for div card number. That's what I really got to style. I was looking way too far down. It loads in like, I think this is basically an iframe, or like just JavaScript dumps all this stuff into here. So I'm like trying to style something that's technically in a page. I don't control which. There might be a way. I don't know. I'm just going to look this up and say card number right here. So card number, let's style that. Wait, and I brain farted on the way over to there, so it's card dash number. I think that'll work. Yep. Oh, I broke something though. What a break. Let's look at the console. Yeah, okay, that's... Page security blocking, loading the resources, base 64, image source. That's just a little image I had there. That's... All right. Is that form inputs doing? Let's see if that's farting that thing up. What's going on in here that I'm doing? Well, basically I turn it into a little flex box, put a border around it, and flip everything. Min height with background. All right, if I just blow up a bunch of these styles, what happens? All right, you don't like something I'm doing here. All right, let me put on the stripe element. I know I can look this up, and I'm going to have to in a minute, I think. Ooh, oh. Got like 46 of these things. What do I do? All right, so yeah, it doesn't like something I'm doing in there. So, all right, I guess we're gonna have to figure that out. But for right now, I'm just gonna kill that out because it's something with styling of the stripe elements that's just, it's not liking. And that could be stripe elements plus that's trying to control, or it could be, yeah, see? Okay, so this wants just some styles in here called, yeah, all right. Let's see real quick. All right, so if I just grab these real quick, drop that into here. I just want to see that I can style it, and then I can kind of move on. So let me just do 424242. Okay. Go back here. Where did you get these stripe dash card from? Oh. Okay. Let's go back to mine. It's just, let's say, what is it? Form text. I think that's my class. Form item, text box. All right, something I'm doing is it's not liking that style wise. So just for now, I'm just going to remove the styles from it because I don't need it to, like, it's silly to have it blow up on styles. All right, so we got our 3 form fields in here. At the very least, that'll take care of that. I can make it look the way I need it to make it look at some point in the future. See, that'll work. All right, good. Even this for right now, I'm just going to rip out the form field stuff, and that's just going to take like a couple of hours or like an hour or two of just sitting there saying, all right, how the hell, how do you style these things correctly? And instead of just sitting here mindlessly reading something, I'll try to figure something else out with it. All right, so we got our credit card number, we got the expiry date, we got the CVC in there. Now we need to actually send this information over to Stripe. Stripe will come back with a token, and the token is what we do our stuff with, if I remember correctly. That's how it works. We save just the token, and that's how Stripe kind of communicates with us in a PCI compliant manner. So you don't ever have to store the credit card number, the expiration dates, or any of that information. You just store this token, and this token is what's used everywhere else in your system. And then, God forbid, if your system gets stolen, or your data gets whatever lost to hackers somewhere, it's, from the perspective of credit card data, it's nothing to really worry about. If you lose your database to hackers, you have other problems. All right, so we got that. We have this information. How the heck do we send it over now? I think they have in this. They have their pay. Yeah, it just goes over through this create token. Information. All right, so. Yeah, oh, and that's, okay, so a couple of important things here. Click at pay. Stripe options change. Okay, so grab that. This is not going to be a submit button. I'm going to pay through this thing, and I am going to do a prevent. And I'm not even going to do that for right now. I may actually just strip out this form and put the form down somewhere else later. Because again, like I said before, you don't want to send inadvertently any data over to your server. And if this is a submit button, it is submitting to your server. So I don't want that. I just wanted to click and go to a function that I've created, which in this case is at pay. So at pay is going to just be in here, or it's a method, and I'm going to say pay. And this is where we do our payment stuff. So I think right now they just had that silly field, which is, yeah, create token, then dump the token back. So all this does is it says, okay, give me the data, and then I'm going to send it over to the, it basically does whatever it needs to do. It sends all the information over, and then it returns it back as data, and that's it. I think it even grabs all it's just looking for these refs. So I don't think there's anything in here I need to send their way as far as I know. Let's see. If there's anything else in there. Oh, we got multiple elements. Let's see what they do here. Yeah, I'm just making sure that information is correct, make sure the update is correct, and then also yeah, all right. So really all they're doing here is yeah, and then they're just passing that to, okay, so they're just passing this to the data. Okay. All right, so this is not part of my form. This is part of like just my data. Number, expiry, and CVC. That's what I want to do that there. Oh, and then I'm going to have to actually check for the plan, which I don't have any plans set up. Okay. All right. So basically, the next step here is not this create token. Essentially, in here we have to do a couple of different things. One of which is make sure that they've selected the plan, which I don't have a plan set up, so I'm going to have to go back and do that first before we can actually do a plan. But let me look at this just to make sure I'm understanding what I was doing in this old thing. So we got to handle the card setup essentially, which is just going to say, okay, send the, and set up this it's like set up intent, payment method, figure out what all of this information is, and then we send to this route, which is just going to do the pay for us. And then it's actually done because I'm using Cashier. Cashier is the thing that actually does the payment checking and will return the token to me. I don't do that through this. That's the part I was forgetting. So Cashier will then say, okay, we're going over to Stripe, and Cashier will come back saying, hey, yep, cool, we got the token back. And then all the other stuff that Laravel's Cashier needs. So that'll come back to me with the token. Then I can do whatever else I need to do. So then once I have the token, then we can set up all that stuff. So step one to get all this stuff done is to actually have some sort of payment plan system in place, which I don't have at this moment in time. So can either just, I think, fake it and just say, yeah, I'm going to have like an unlimited plan of what, but and then just do that. But I don't have that stuff set up yet inside of Stripe. So I'll have to do a fake plan inside of Stripe. So there's a little more rigmarole that I've completely forgot about. And since it's Stripe, I can't show it on screen because these are my actual, even though it's test credentials, it's still connected to a real Stripe account and all that stuff. So there's just potential there that I'm not going to show. So, all right. So instead of doing that, what can we do instead for right now? I think I only got about 20 minutes left anyway. So I think the next step for me right now would be to just, let's look at the screen again. Where did we go? Register. All right. So refresh. So we have this information on here. We collect the name, the email address. Then we do, so why don't we do this? So let's go back to the registration page real quick. Let's make this just look a little bit better than what we got. Because now that page didn't work. What happened there? Oh boy, I blew up something here. All right, cool. So we'll figure this thing out real quick. Get these pages looking a little bit better because I do have some CSS that I want to just kind of we can drop in here, and then I will go back and create some fake stuff for tomorrow. So that way there's actually some fake data in there, and then we can actually just test and do payment information because that's just not happening right now without, I just don't want to put anything on my screen that might endanger payments later on. All right, so for now, let's figure out what the hell just happened to I bet it's this. New registration. Module ID is undefined. Let's clear this out, refresh. Oh. No, it's not this. was assuming something on this page was blowing up the other page. Uncaught in promise, but there's not even... Inertia post is a promise, but that's... I mean, this isn't even doing anything. I can delete that. Watch, it now works. Module is undefined. Module's undefined. Nothing there. It gets through to the registration of PHP, so, and it blows up maybe an open. But why? Nope, not here. Did I fudge something in? Oh, wait. Nope, everything in my app looks good. This is the module that it can't find, so it can't, so it's trying to tell me it can't find resolve component name module default, so it's, wait, export default. There we go. What did I... I must have just had a typo in there and I didn't even realize it in this page, and I just hit Control-Z twice and it fixed it. Yeah, okay. I didn't see what it fixed, so I was just, there was probably just something in here that I didn't even realize I had. All right. If you're wondering if people who consider themselves and who've been working in programming for a long time, senior developers, make silly mistakes, the answer is yeah, we do. Okay, so all right, this is working. Let's just get this thing styled to actually look a little bit, like I said, not like this. In my head, I had an idea for what this page was going to look like, and the general idea is just I want to show it as kind of this process, like this step through process. So it's basically information on the left here, which is what you're going to be doing, and then on the right hand side it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many steps it is, and it'll show you as you step through. So basically this is step 1, that's where this content is. So this is going to be centered in the page right here. This page, you know, this other side, 50% of this page will be like the steps that you have to do. So it's easiest to just do this with a grid. This is the open template. Okay, so let me go into, I think I might rename this registration and just have like a specific registration flow template. But for right now, the name open is fine. So we go to resources, JS, rebase, templates, open. Here we go. All right, so this is this page. This is the slot that everything drops into, and it's just a section right now. And there's nothing else in this page. And if you look at the app.blade, there's nothing but the body element in there right now either. So there's nothing to kind of muck this up in any way. Where do I want to put the grid and then drop this content? I think this so all right, so so okay, I'm going to start this just the way I normally do, which may seem a little backwards, because I think some people would want to start building this from the template page out and say, okay, here's the whole template, here's everything that I need to put in there, and then put the specific things like the form fields and all that other stuff inside of here, and then maybe make the slot on the left hand side. I'm not going to do that. I am going to build everything I need for this one registration view inside of the registration template itself, not the open template. So not like the template that they all inherit from, like the global template. I'm just going to put it in here. And then when we go to the next page, and then the page after that, I'll be able to see what content needs to go where. Because right at this moment in time, I know that the grid will need to be outside of this, will need to be into the other page, but what else? What needs to be in the template versus in the page? I'm not 100% sure yet. So it'll just be easier if I just build everything inside of this page and then go from here based on once I actually have some sort of information, once I actually know what needs to go and where. So right now I don't have that information, so it's easiest just to start in the most specific place possible and then go outside of that. All right, so what does that look like? That looks like this page really. So view registration, and I'm gonna just build my grid right here. So I've already got a div. So we're gonna call this class, I don't even know, grid, left, grid, right. I don't like those names, but for the moment we're good. Take this form. That's going to be on the left-hand side. And on the right are our steps. So what's the first step? So OL, LI, step 1, out your workspace name. Step 2, give us your personal info. There's a marketer somewhere saying, yeah, that sounds great. Give us your personal info. And then after that, give us a list of your nightmares and your social security number. Step 3, pay. So, step 4, I don't know. Wait for cleaning up your site. Actually, this is no. What this step 4 is: check your email. Again, to the cringing marketing person out there, give me better words. All right. Yeah. So we're gonna figure out your workspace. You're going to give us your personal information, you're going to pay, and then you're going to check your email, and that'll actually do the final step. Boom, done. Okay. We got our grid set up, grid left and right. Great names that I'm using there. I always tell my students, pick names that make sense for whatever you're building. I guess, yes, it is a grid technically, but the names are terrible here. So maybe, because it is a grid, but it's not like blah. All right. Just going to leave it at that for right now. Now, the other question is going to be a lot of people like, well, where do you actually style this? Do you style this in this page or do you go somewhere else? I don't like doing too many styles inside of your templates, inside of the view templates. I don't mind it so much inside of components, but when it's a template like this, it gets a little, it could just become a lot. And again, some of these things are going to be used everywhere else. So I go into, in this case, my actual CSS, and then I just create, this is where I have these, where is it? Resources, CSS, abstract components, and then I create there's now a pages level one that I'll create, and that'll actually have the information for the specific pages in there. Although in this case, maybe I'm just going to make a grid component for right now. Nah, I'm going to create pages. New folder. Pages, new file, register as CSS. So again, I kind of think of this as really, really fluid at this point in time. I have no idea if I'm going to be sticking with this name. This information may move out somewhere else later on. I don't care for the moment in time. I'm just going to kind of I just need to stick it somewhere. And this is where the somewhere is going to go. Now I got to go to, no, not there. App.css, yeah. And then I got to put it somewhere. So import rebase pages register. All right. So now we can just do .grid. All right. So display grid. And really, the only thing I want is two things left and right. So, and it's two columns, one row each column. So, grid template rows is, yeah, it's just right. I think it's just the one. Grid template rows. Do I have any? Well, yeah, they're both. It's just one row. It's just 100%. One, in this case, one fractional unit, one FR, which will be however big the entire thing is. Grid template columns will be one FR, one FR. FRs are fractional units. Fractional units mean essentially in this case it's only, since it's an entire thing, there's only two columns, it's 1/2 and 1/2, 50% of the page. There's nuance to fractional units. I just don't, I don't remember them off the top of my head. Like if you had 15 different things in here, like fractional units are only fractions of certain pieces of the page. It's a little funny, but it's cool. All right, yeah, that puts it in order for me. And I should, yeah, we'll just leave it at that for a moment. Let's take a look at this. If I did it right, yeah, good. It's gonna split everything for me. So done. There we go. This is why I freaking love grids. It's just, that's kind of it. But it doesn't take up the whole page. It does take up the whole page. It might. Oh, that would be so awesome if it already did. Nope. All right. So that's my left and that's my right. So I can go in here and let me just pop this on. So I just turned on the grid stuff inside of the inspector. If you've never used the inspector, it's really good and it's really awesome inside of Firefox. I don't know about Chrome. I hate Chrome, so I don't really use it, but you can just kind of click this little button here, so where it says grid, or and boop, and it'll show you your entire grid. I'm assuming Chrome has something like that. I don't know. All right, so I just want this to be, if I just set a height of 100 VH, will that just do it for me? Okay, yeah. So there we go. Height 100 VH, because I already have a height set on the body element of the page. So 100 VH, that takes care of that. All right, so go back over here. VH. And then I want to do something a little bit different on the right hand side, so color wise. So if I just say right, I'm using Sass, so I can just do that and say dot right, background color. I know I have colors in here defined already, so I think they're in my abstracts. Good question. Defaults. So these are like my default things. So I don't have to set. I have like basic pixel values set up for lots of stuff. My font weights, colors. Yeah, here we go. All right, so I want to do a gray 80. Gray 80 for the background. I'll take the color as color gray 20. Let's do a little bit of padding around the whole, this one whole side. So we'll call that padding PX 16, which is 1 rem. But we'll do 1 rem padding around the entire thing. Hit refresh. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's good enough for now. Let's add a little bit of a gap in there. I think that's just grid gap. Again, one of those things, I always just am used to adding margins and paddings in there, but you don't need to. You should just be able to say, I think it's grid gap. And I can just say 1 rem. Yep, there we go. So if I just say one, like whatever I want in there, it'll give me a gap between those things. So, yep, that's exactly what I want. And 1 rem in my is just no sign. PX16. Oop, that's gonna break. All right. Go back here, refresh so we can see it. Beautiful. And where the hell is that? Get rid of that so we can actually see that. That looks pretty good. Okay. Yeah, so you can see now we got, you know, this thing. I should probably do something to show when you are on which step you're on and all that. And then, yeah, and then, okay, so trying to figure out how I'm going to, you know what I'm going to figure out here. Let's do this. Go back over to, not defaults, where. So what I want to do in here is just, I want to know that which step you're in. So if I said current, that should mean something to the system. So go back over to register. Oh, wait. Bold. All right, so it's a little bit bolder. Maybe I'll also just make the color a little bit different. Maybe I'll do 40 for the regular. $20 for this. I'll have to change that in a moment, but this will. Yeah, just something that makes it kind of stand out a little bit more. So that's all that's doing there. It's kind of faded it a little bit more to the background and kind of made this the right color here. All right, I think that's pretty good. That's definitely a good setup there. All right. So once we're good at that, once we're done with that, all right. That was actually really easy to do. All right, so I think the next step really for me at this point is to get the, well, all right, let's go back into this question now. What needs to be in the real template and what needs to be here? So I think we're gonna do this 2 ways. Or I think what I wanna do is I wanna put the whole grid in the template. And then I think I'm gonna have 2 slots. One that's for the right and one that's for the left, I think. Now, you know what? I want to put the whole thing. Yeah, I think I want to programmatically control this. So what I think I want to do is this. Let's go. Where's this? Copy this whole thing real quick. Go back over to open.view. And then we'll take this. And then we'll go back to registration. Put that in there. Take this guy right there. All right. Yep, that's the way I want to do this. I will programmatically control where we are in the grid. I think that makes the best sense out of the whole thing. So basically what we'll just do is we'll say, okay, hey, this should still look the same, by the way. Hit save, go back, refresh. I shouldn't see anything different. Boom. Okay, cool. So yeah, so what I'm going to do then for what I want to do for tomorrow then basically is be able to control the grid setup through so knowing what step you're on basically. So I'll have to do something with view where I'm like V, you know, V if you're on this and V or V if you're here. Something like that, I'm assuming. And then that's it. And then now we know what this is. I'm going to change the name from this too because it doesn't need to be open. It needs to be registration. So this is the registration template. So that'll carry us through all like the 3-4 steps, or the, you know, all the steps of the registration process. That'll take care of that. Then we go into. I'll also get the other things working, so that way I actually have some the ability to create a plan, and then we can go on from there. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. I got a little bit of work I'm gonna have to do later tonight. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please hit the like button wherever you're watching this, if there's a like button. You know, subscribe and all that stuff, and I'll talk to you all soon.